episode of Ramble On, a very special episode because we are doing the Snyder Cut.
Snyder
Cut.
What?
This should probably be a reanimated. Like, since we take and compare and contrast. I just feel bad doing a reanimate without Caden here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of needs to be here for that one.
So this will be it'll be a Ramble On. It'll be a reanimated disguised as a Ramble On. Because what I know for a fact that all of you out there, after watching every other asshole on YouTube review this fucking Snyder Cut, you're like, hey, I need to go over to that channel that gets 3 views per video and check out what those dickweeds need to say about the Snyder Cut. And that's why we're here on a Monday night talking about the Snyder Cut way after every other asshole YouTuber already talked about the Snyder Cut.
Like dickweeds.
Like dickweeds we are, because if we're nothing if not late to the game.
At least we finished.
Let's just dive right into this thing, because doing a scene-by-scene breakdown of a 4-hour slog would be a hell of a thing to try and do.
It would be. That would be a lot to do.
Let's just get down to brass tacks. Did you like it better than the theatrical release?
I liked it much better than the theatrical release. I also liked it a lot more than most of the other DC movies as well. I would put it definitely in my top 3 for the whole DC extended universe, for sure.
Yeah, but I would make it 2 movies. It was really 2 movies we got to see all at once, because there was a perfect final fight scene at the 2-hour mark.
Yeah. There was a really good spot. You could have split it into 2 films. But I don't know. I also kind of liked it being one film as well, because it's like one cohesive story beginning to end. Unlike...
Well, I think that's just how we got presented to it, because we have streaming and we don't have to wait. You know what I mean? You can just put it out there as one big thing. You watch it in the chunks you want to, because there's, it's even broken up further than that. Part 1, part 2, part 3.
But like, I'm thinking like, for instance, like the way they did Avengers, you had Infinity War and then Endgame, which were pretty much 2 completely different movies that technically could have been one long one, but the feel was totally different on the 2. This one, the feel was the same consistently all the way through, especially the way the storytelling was done. All the backstories, all the emotional stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think having it as one full one made more sense than splitting it into 2, because really it's still one whole movie.
Well, if we're talking about things that make sense, you could have cut out, the first 2 hours if you had given these characters their own, movies to begin with.
Or, as I've been saying the entire time, don't have any movies individually. The animated film Justice League War, if they would have done that as the Justice League movie, as the kickoff for the universe, introduce the characters running into each other for the first time saying, who the hell are you? While trying to solve this problem, that's how you get everyone in there. That's how you start it. And then from there, you can split off and do the individual stuff from there.
That's fine. But you're also, as we were saying earlier, because we were talking about this beforehand, you're shortening your lifespan of your DCEU, because the reason why the MCU went on for so long was not because we were waiting so many years between team up movies. It's because we had a long, slow burn of individual movies to go along with it.
Yeah.
To
like
build up to that
2 or 3 years before you got the first team up. Yeah.
So, I mean,
wait,
well, no, when was the first Iron Man movie?
2008. And the first Avengers was 2009
search me, man.
or 10.
Caden's not here to do Caden shit. So don't force me to tell you that.
We'll make Caden do it for us.
Yeah. Later. But I think they could have done a slow burn with their individual movies. Then we could have got a Batfleck movie. I think you could have put Wonder Woman out before that. You could have done these things before we get to our team up. The blueprint was in front of you with Marvel, and you didn't do it because you got excited about you got excited about the epic moment. So like, okay, I compare it to this. I know you don't watch wrestling anymore, but like wrestling has had iconic moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant, moments like that will live in memory forever. And Foley getting thrown off a cage.
Yeah.
Vince wants these moments very badly, especially every WrestleMania. WrestleMania. That is the porn parody.
Never knew there. Well, of course there's one. There's always one.
I don't know, dude. I'm just made that up.
Oh, but well, you had me fooled.
He tries to manufacture these moments, and it never works because it's forced and manufactured. That is what
people can feel it. Yeah.
And that is what the DCEU is as a nutshell. It is a forced moment as opposed to building to it and earning that moment.
Yeah, and their big problem was they started too late as well, because at that point, Marvel
Who cares
already
if you started
had.
late? You do your own thing. You don't compare yourself to Marvel.
Yeah.
You do your own thing in your own time. You do it the same way they did it. Because matter of fact, it's even better they went before you because the blueprint's there.
Yeah. I think in their case, they got a little overzealous. It's like, oh, well, they've already done at this point, 2 team-up movies? Like, oh, we got to catch up with that.
Ain't no one running the ship.
Yeah.
AT&T doesn't know what's going on.
Well, this is before AT&T, I think.
Who knows?
When
But
they
even
started
now, it's still a clusterfuck.
I think when they started Man of Steel, at least, they didn't.
Who knows?
It was AT&T, not yet.
I don't know, but it's been a clusterfuck since day one with there's no Kevin Feige there running the ship.
And that's what they needed for a long time.
They tried to have Jeff Johns do it, but as we see with the Snyder cut and some of the stuff, like the things that Jeff Johns tried to change and bringing Whedon in, did not help things. And I like Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns is a great storyteller.
He is a great storyteller. I love his stories. What he did with the Green Lantern was better than most.
Which was why I was excited when I heard he was doing the DCU stuff. Because I was like, oh, well, let him do the Kevin Feige and control it all. Yeah. It will be great because he understands and cares about these characters better than just about anybody working for DC.
Especially when it came to a good example of how he's good at getting into these characters' heads and writing them out and knowing how to flesh this out. In the Blackest Night comic, when Superman, because if the Black Lanterns could see what color spectrum they were presenting, and it showed Superman with, no joke, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he knows this character. He knows he's got all this depth and emotional stuff to him. It's like he's got the whole spectrum of emotion.
Yeah.
And a good writer can show those moments. So I expected more, especially from Superman, because what we got from Man of Steel to me was not really.
We have not had a good Superman movie ever.
At all. No.
Henry Cavill is a fine physical representation of Superman.
He plays the character fine.
With what he has to work with.
Yeah, with what he has to work with. But I mean, given the stuff that Joss Whedon wrote for him to be more of the Boy Scout Superman, is more on the right path, those scenes were still awful.
Yeah, all right.
They were still like.
I'm not as bad on Whedon as everybody else is after this. I don't dislike Joss Whedon as far as, I'm sure he's been Me Too to oblivion. I don't know about that stuff, but as far as just a filmmaker goes, I don't like him. I don't dislike him. I don't dislike the levity when it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Appropriate for Iron Man.
Yeah. The problem was with the original Justice League was it was so split. Because you had the darkness that was Zack Snyder, which clearly after watching these 2 films, 2 films. After watching these, you can tell, like, with the darkness aspect of it, there's a story going on. But then when it gets to the lighter parts, it's like, well, that just destroys whatever that story was. It doesn't make sense. And it's like, it doesn't fit. It doesn't.
I don't know. I didn't mind him, Steven Snyder, trying to put some levity into it because there are characters like the Flash was the comic relief, even in the Snyder version. And there needed to be some levity there, and he handled it okay. It's not. I mean, it's kind of unnatural for Zack Snyder. It's like Data trying to tell a joke. It's like
you're
just not.
Also, I think they made a mistake by making the Flash Barry Allen. I'm sorry, that personality and that style, that's a Wally West. I think had they said, "Oh, this is Wally West," all the comic relief would have made perfect sense, and all the nerds would have been like, "Okay."
Well, it may just be a case that you just. Flash, Spider-Man, and Human Torch are all carefree type characters, so you can set the same personality on them.
Yeah, but Wally was more of the cracking jokes type. Barry isn't really one for a whole lot of jokes. So I think that's one big mistake. They probably should have just gone and made it Wally. But I'm not complaining because honestly, I still liked what I saw.
When it comes to adaptations to movies, you're going to take an amalgamation of everything that's in there, and you're never going to put it there directly. So I'll never be the one that complains about staying true to the comic book.
Yeah.
As long as you give me a competent narrative that makes sense within itself and at least shows respect to the source material.
Yes.
Shows that you cared about the source material. Like nothing from the Deadpool movie was really taken from the comic book. But it showed so much care and love and joy for these characters, who they were in the source material, even though it didn't take anything really from the source material.
Right. Yeah, I get that. And that makes perfect sense. I mean, that's kind of why.
That's all you want. Just show you care. Show you give a shit and you have some respect for what you're doing.
Show that you also kind of understand the characters that you're portraying.
Well, yeah.
Because Batman versus Superman, we did not get that from Batman whatsoever.
So let's kick off with starting with this movie. We got to see again the action scene with Wonder Woman facing off against what's his name?
The guys in the suits in the bank.
Roose Bolton
Okay.
from Game of Thrones.
Is that who that was? Huh, fancy that. Didn't know.
Yeah.
I knew he looked familiar, but I just didn't really place it.
Yeah, I keep wanting to say Charles Dance, but that was Tywin Lannister.
Never mind. I was thinking Ted Danson. Okay.
Charles Dance was also the bad guy in Golden Child.
You've no idea who I am, have you?
Yes, yo Sado Noopsie.
So the first action scene with Roose Bolton, Zack Snyder loves his slow motion. Instead, we got the full speed, like turbo mode Wonder Woman,
Just flying around the place.
That was awesome.
That was cool as hell.
I love seeing her in real time, just like walking and stuff. Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, while I hated a lot of the slow motion stuff, I also liked when it was done at the right moments.
Well, Zack Snyder he is a slow motion guy. That's
he is. That's all,
man. You think all I can do is slow motion? Here's some sped up shit. Watch this. And it was equally as cool.
It was equally as good. But then again, his visuals, I've never said anything bad about his visuals.
No, the only thing that's off-putting about Zack Snyder to me, other than I think he's the wrong fit for Superman. I think he's the right fit for Batman. As far as playing things dark and gritty and realistic.
Directing, yes. Writing, get a better writer.
Oh, yes.
But
fine.
have him make it
Go
look
get Kevin
good.
Smith right. Kevin Smith,
he knows a Batman.
He knows a Batman.
Kevin Smith writing, Zack Snyder directing, done. Be good.
But the first 2 hours was an overindulgent intro to all these people that was substituting for solo movies.
Yes.
But in doing so, I liked.
It did so much character building.
I didn't like this. I didn't like Cyborg in the original.
Me neither.
I loved him in this one.
Absolutely.
But
I didn't like Flash in the first one because I thought he was really annoying. But guess what? When you actually give him a backstory and you
he's
give
still
him
annoying.
No, I disagree entirely with that. Like, the way they did his character,
I never found him annoying. I thought he was all right.
In the I'll say the Whedon one, the one that's been weeded.
The weeded one? Yeah.
The one that's been weeded.
Uh-huh.
They cut out so much Flash scenes where it's like, I just didn't like him. He just didn't fit. But then, like with this one, there's a lot more story for him. It shows a lot like him busting through that glass and saving that girl, so grabbing the hot dog to take back to the dogs and stuff. It's like
it's cute.
All of that stuff. It's like this is what was missing because had any of those scenes been in that movie, I would have felt differently about the character. But now I like him. I didn't like him then.
I think that Flash fits in the Shazam world.
Yes, absolutely.
I think Ezra Miller's Flash would be really good paired up with the current iteration of Shazam. I
think so too. That would be really good.
So those have a similar tone. Whereas Wonder Woman, you can throw her anywhere really because those movies.
She's flexible. You can put her in anything because she's not too dark. She's not too bright. You can put her in pretty much any other film really with anybody.
Except for an 80s period piece apparently because apparently that movie sucked. I haven't even watched it yet. So.
I saw that thing.
Yeah, I haven't heard a good thing about it. That's why I kind of avoided it. I was looking forward to it, and all I heard was bad things, and I kind of just kept putting it off, and it's not on HBO Max anymore. So I was like, well.
Oh, it's not?
Nah.
They took it off?
Yeah. This is a short run sort of situation. We got to sell DVDs somehow, right?
So. They were probably like, we need to get this off of a streaming service. Everyone's just talking crap about it.
Yeah. That's how you sell the DVDs, though. You take off the streaming service, and it's like the Disney Vault.
Oh man, Disney
that shit.
Yeah.
But no, we got more interesting openers for all of our characters. I like, was it Ray Fisher? Is that his name? Cyborg?
Cyborg, yeah.
James Earl Jones. It's the second coming of James Earl Jones. Seriously, he's got one of those deep hypnotic voices you just want to listen to all day long. And like when James Earl Jones passes, I hope Ray Fisher just starts doing all of his voiceover work. He needs to play him in a biopic. I'm not saying their voices are exactly alike. I'm just saying he's got that same hypnotic kind of like low voice. It's got gravitas to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be really good at voice acting for sure. I liked him because I did not care for the character so much in the first one. I keep saying the first one. It's the same movie, but
the Whedon version,
the weeded one.
The only thing, my only problem with him is I don't see him being fun, and Cyborg is fun.
It depends on where you put him because in some of like the animated movies, he was not fun. He was pretty much all business all the time. But in other ones, like when you put him with like some of the Teen Titans, where it's like a lesser gravity situation, he can lighten up when he needs to.
Yeah, what I'm saying is
he's good at flipping that switch when he has to.
What I'm saying is I don't I haven't seen that part of Ray Fisher's
Not yet.
acting yet because it was all so serious. Like
It was.
I need to see him be like, I need one boom baby from him just to see if he could do it.
Yeah, and I don't think he was there yet. Like, I think character-wise, like where he was at, I guess, in his life.
Which is why you give him a fucking solo movie first so he can get over through all the brooding shit. And then he's all happy. Then we can be, you know, the cyborg you know and love.
But the point of this one was having the brooding moments for all of them, pretty much. Even Wonder Woman is a little broody.
Dude, all right.
Like,
Zack Snyder's visuals are great. But
it's your way to do that and then all come together and still kind of work through the brooding.
That guy's fucking playlist is the most depressing thing ever. It's like Mad World on repeat. Like, all he wants to hear is like heavy piano-driven slow songs that are melancholic and have a deep point to him about how the world and society and your soul are all dark and twisted and you've wasted your life and everything is just shit and fuck. It's his whole playlist.
Pretty much. And that's why it works for DC, in my opinion.
I don't know.
I didn't think it did, but now I kind of do.
Nick Cave playing over Aquaman was interesting. I was like, you know what? To be fair, he is not the first superhero to have Nick Cave playing while he made his cool entrance. One of the other things I noticed in this version is the parademons seemed a lot more deadly, a lot more formidable.
Yes, much so. Because they were just like nothing, just floating around. It's like,
they were just,
I'll just punch him and the head pops off. Like, that's all it was. Yeah, they're just
generic bad guys.
Just fodder. Just throw them in there.
One was taking Batman to task.
Yeah.
Which was like, okay, it's nice to see what a real human could do against one of these, which is not much.
Yeah, not much at all. And guess what? That's how they did it in the cartoons. They did it in the comics that way. Like, they were formidable. That's why Darkseid had parademons.
Did like the Granny Goodness cameo at the end.
I wanted so much more Granny Goodness.
I did have Mac pausing the video every time that Darkseid was around to try and catch a glimpse of see if Big Barda was in the background somewhere. No Big Barda. I thought
she would have been, but I guess not. Maybe.
Well, she saw horns at one point in time. I was like, no, that's just Ares.
That's just Ares. Yeah. Yeah. I was hoping to see Barda. I'm glad we got a little bit of Desaad, but we didn't see him in like his full on like
name for the market, Desaad. All right,
we haven't seen any of the, he hasn't captured anyone who like went through the torture phases with people yet. I wanted to see that so bad because, I love Desaad. All the apocalyptic characters are some of my favorites.
Oh yeah, well,
so like
Jack Kirby's the man.
So like I wanted to see Desaad do his thing, but what we got of him was still acceptable considering they had other stories they were telling. You don't want to throw even more into the mix.
Yeah, so the parademons were formidable. I will have to say though, Steppenwolf, although I like the design better, he was precious. They gave him Gollum eyes.
They really did. He had really
sympathetic, sweet eyes.
Sweet little puppy dog eyes, yeah.
Like the entire time his little face inside the giant helmet, like, look at you,
little guy. And even whenever he was like pissed off and his eyes were glowing blue, it's like, oh, now they're glowing.
Like, especially whenever he was like being subservient to Darkseid and like stripping everything down. He's like,
as soon as they zoomed in on his face, you see him just like looking around.
He looks like a fucking DreamWorks character.
Yeah, yeah.
I waited for make this face. The DreamWorks face, or is that Pixar? Which one is it? No, Disney's Pixar. DreamWorks is the one who does the every character. Gotcha.
Yep.
I like
DreamWorks uses the white guy grin.
I like dance. Fuck you. All right. I like the ants better than Bug's Life. I'll fight anybody on that one. But no, Steppenwolf had some better scenes of this. The fight scene with the Amazonians to start off with was great. Like when he threw the fucking horse.
That was better.
He threw the first horse and then he grabs the other 3 horses with the rope and then chucks 3 horses at once. I was like, that's awesome.
They made him so much better in this one. I also like that you actually had a backstory. It's like, usually, especially with the DC movies, the villain is just bad guy, fight bad guy.
My fiance almost started cheering when the Amazonians were dogpiling him. How cool that scene was.
Yeah, dude, the whole scene,
relay.
Yeah, the whole relay scene, like most of that was in the weeded version, but he cut out so much of the stuff that made it so intense.
Well, that's just it. It built upon itself as a relay.
Okay,
when you cut that stuff out, it doesn't build upon itself.
Yeah, it's just not there.
The pacing wasn't the same.
It was not. And the cool thing was the relay with this one, and like I knew how those were going to turn out because we saw the weeded one. Mm-hmm. But it was very much like seeing the end of Rogue One with Darth Vader in the hallway. And it's like, get out of there, get out of there, get out of there. Like, it was very much like that the whole time. It was like, go faster.
Must go faster.
No, there's always those movies that where you're on that ticking clock moment and it's going to end poorly, but every time you watch it, you're still thinking like maybe this time they'll make it.
I literally knowing how that was going to go. I was still on the edge of I was sitting on my bed watching it. So I was on the edge of my bed watching it.
I like how like Ryan Choi shows up and then they have to make sure at the end they're like, Ryan Choi, that's my name. I'm Ryan Choi. Hey guys, I'm the fucking Atom. I'm Ryan Choi. Here's the Jig Star Lab logo on my back. I'm Ryan Choi. Like, we got it, dude. It's the Atom. It's fine. We don't care about the Atom. No one cares about the Atom.
I like him.
He's fine.
I like him enough. Like, I love a good writing with the B-list characters.
Yeah.
I do. Like, give me him. Give me The Question. Give me
well, it's why I'm looking forward to a Morbius movie.
That'd be interesting.
The Jared Leto one that's coming out.
After seeing him in this, I have a little more high hopes for him.
Dude, Marilyn Manson Jokers tend to... All right.
So much better.
They were both Marilyn Manson Jokers. The other one was just Marilyn Manson doing the Not Another Teen Movie soundtrack. When he did his goth gangster thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's his Tainted Love. Yeah.
His Tainted Love.
Tainted Love Manson. This one's more Golden Age of Grotesque Manson.
Yeah, I like it better.
I'm honestly fine with this Jared Leto version. Like
if he'd come out wearing the bodysuit with the tits and stuff, like mechanical animals.
All I got to say is that little bit with him in there was significantly better than everything he did for Suicide Squad.
And no, and that entire scene was completely unnecessary, self-indulgent, and did not need to be on there. The whole, I realize why you did them as epilogues, and people who complain about them, the epilogues being unnecessary, think of them as post-credit scenes that he just went ahead and stuck at the end, so you don't have to sit through the credits, and I appreciate that.
I like he put it there instead of during the credits.
But they were self-indulgent. They didn't add anything to it, but I'm glad I got to sit there and just see the scene between Batfleck and Leto's Manson Joker.
Have
Batfleck go, I'm going to fucking kill you.
And then just take the car. Yeah. Like that whole back and forth, that is their relationship. Like that's the thing that is the dynamic between those two characters, and they pulled it off really well.
Do you want to hear something weird though?
What?
After seeing that scene, do you know who I kind of want to see play the Joker now? Macaulay Culkin.
I don't know, man. Just going back to, I really like that nightmare scene stuff. Like from Batman v Superman, I enjoyed that scene probably the most out of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Just because it was what the hell? And it's like, I would definitely like to see more of this. I want this.
Oh yeah. An Injustice movie would be awesome.
Yeah. And so when they threw that back in there, it also kind of throws everything back in, and it kind of puts everything in perspective. And because the Flash, when he showed up in Batman v Superman with that helmet and shit on, he had on during that epilogue scene. So it's like, oh, so something goes down, and Flash probably uses a flashpoint of some sort to go back and give the warning and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. I don't think you can revisit. You already did the Batman versus Superman and you shot your wad too early. The Batman versus Superman should have come later on down the line once you built all this crap up and Bruce's paranoia.
It would have been. So here's my opinion, how Batman v Superman should have gone. To what they should have done story-wise was, Batman sees a whole fight with Superman and Zod. I almost said Grodd. That's the gorilla. Zod. And all the destruction, people died, blah, blah, blah. Batman goes to take him out pretty much for that, like you got.
I saw the movie, yeah.
Just like you got. But instead of killing him or trying to kill him or have the fucking doomsday fight, instead of having that, somehow find a way to turn it around where it's like he shows Superman we don't have to kill people. And then from there, he goes from being that darker type Superman to then being the lighter one that we would expect to see.
I don't know, that
was his way of
training. The greatest piece of writing that ever was recorded on cinema was, Martha, why did you say that name? That was almost as good as, where is Padme?
Where's Padme? The Frankenstein monster moment. Palpatine is alive. May as well have had one of the that villain mustache.
I would love to see Palpy with the fucking
what was it? The Dudley
Dastardly Whiplash.
Yeah, that one.
Dudley Whiplash mustache.
Dastardly's name of the dog.
Come, buddy. We are going to win these wacky races, and then our victory shall be complete.
Execute Order 66.
Palpatine and Muttley. That is the crossover event I never knew I wanted, and now I do.
That's all I'm going to see now if I see his face. I'll be like, he's missing his mustache. Son of a bitch.
So we're talking about the special effects, and while they do look better, Darkseid landing on the ground and grabbing the dirt definitely looked like, I was like, I've seen those exact same graphics in Blizzard cutscenes.
Yeah. Some of those were like they need to figure out their special effects a little bit better.
Those looked about on the same level as the Warcraft 3 cutscenes from like 15, 20 years ago. How long
well, the
Warcraft
funny
3
thing is,
came
like,
out.
I was just thinking comparatively, this one versus the weeded one. Like Steppenwolf looked like a cutscene from like the PS1.
No, I mean, these are much better than the Whedon versions. I like them better.
Well, no, yeah, the
but
Whedon
they
one
still are not convincing CG.
No.
And then you grafted Remus Lupin's face over a bodybuilder and tried to pretend it was Ares. And it's like, guys, first of all, why did you cast Lupin as Ares in the first place? Okay. I love that actor. I remember his name off the top of my head. He's forever Lupin to me. He was Lupin and the dude from The Island of Dr. Moreau. That's what he'll ever be for me. I love the dude. I really do. And everything I've seen him in, I like him. But even just the tittery guy in the chair in Big Lebowski.
The fuck is with this guy? Who is he?
Like, love him. But he is a dopey, lanky British guy. And I realized you were going for the unexpected thing in
unexpected twist. Oh, this was Ares.
But his face in that helmet looks so goofy. And then you superimposing his face over the buff body. And like, you really got to squint to see it, but it's a bad CGI mess of his face superimposed over that buff dude.
It was just one of the minor like fan service throwbacks they did.
Which, you know what? I'm glad. I would have rather have had it than not have it.
I agree. Because at least it shows a bit of continuity, which fine. At least it means that they know what they're doing and it's all in the same place and everything's, yeah.
Plus Lupin got to take out Darkseid, and Remus deserves a little bit of a, bump after getting killed off screen in the final Deathly Hallows movie, so.
I agree. Yep, definitely.
You got dirty by JK, so at least he got a little bit of redemption here.
Yep.
I
did it right.
Yeah.
Took out Darkseid with it. But yeah, it was.
So is that who the bow chick was? Was that Tonks?
God damn it.
I've got it written down. Humans. Fuck it. Bury the box in the woods. All right, well, Charles Dance was also the bad guy in Last Action Hero, the one with the glass eye.
Yep.
If God was a villain, he'd be me.
Yeah, that's him. Okay. I love Last Action Hero so much.
And I love Charles Dance.
I love Last Action
Didn't
Hero.
realize he was the boogeyman all over my childhood. And then saw him in Game of Thrones. Like, this guy's awesome. Where has he been all my life? Oh, he's been tormenting my entire childhood. Did not know.
Yep.
Thanks, Charles. Appreciate it, Bubba. You were still seated. It's a seat. You're fine.
Yeah, I was still seated, but more like this. Not so much like this. But
now my impression of a hot dog.
I watch all my movies this way now.
This movie's fucking great.
No elbow. No, not like a seal.
I like the movie.